Hey, okay, be healthy pals. It's Q&A Friday. Yay. Woo woo. Who's ready? Who's been refreshing? Yep. Give me some hearts if you've been refreshing your computer, waiting for me to be live. I'm just waiting here. I was just waiting the second it turned 9 o'clock. I was on here. I was ready for you guys. Hope you're having a great day. It's Friday. Hi, Stephanie. As you're logging on, let me know where you're watching from. It's Friday. Yay, yay, yay. We're heading into the weekend. We have a 3-day weekend. Does anybody else have a 3-day weekend? We are off and closed on Monday, so we're going to do lots of fun things, family things, birthday things, all the good things like that. I got my pumpkin spice and Jesus Christ shirt on. Yeah. I love this shirt. I'm just loving everything about this shirt. It just blesses me so much. We need a little bit more Jesus Christ and everything. So yes, hope as you're logging in, hi Kelly, hi Lacey, hi Risa. As you're logging in, we're going to get started soon. Hi Angela, let me know where you're watching from. Our Fridays now take the place of Saturdays. So don't worry, you have 30 days to watch this. So you can watch in little tiny chunks if you want to. Good afternoon from Spain. Wow. Hi, Mar. Welcome. You might be the furthest one away right now. That's exciting. So we have a lot of really great questions. As you can see, I posted the summary of all amazing questions and all the things we're going to talk about it. Hi, Michelle from Southern Minnesota. She finally made it. Woohoo. Hi, Angela. So, yes. So I made a summary of all the things we're going to talk about. There's a lot of great subjects. As always, you guys have great subjects, and I want to remind everyone to pray for each other. When we see these comments, pray for these names, say their names out loud, pray for healing, because that is what is most important. Also, I want you guys to imagine yourself well. Think of yourself well. We're going to end with that today, so I won't take too much of that. So let's get started with our Retemery card. We are doing Isaiah 43:19. If you don't have a Retemery card, you can get one easily by placing an order online. These are complimentary of OK Be Healthy. I love Retemery cards. I've been doing this since I was little. I give it to my kids, and they're constantly learning all about their Retemery cards and all about scripture. So if you've placed an order, you already have one, possibly. If not, you can get one. That's going to be all the month of October. But if not, you can open your Bible too, right? And you can write it down yourself and put it on your refrigerator, put it in the car, put it somewhere you can see it. It says, "Behold, I will do a new thing now. It shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." So that is our scripture card this month of October. Make sure you're memorizing. It's so important to memorize scripture so we can think about it, right? We can think on these things. We can think on all the things that the Word of God says. So we're going to get started with questions. As always, I always start with our subscriber questions first. If you'd like to become a subscriber, you can. We have a lot of exciting things coming for the subscriber page. It's every day it's getting a little bit better and a little bit better, more momentum and more followers, more subscribers. So it's exciting what we have coming for that group. But subscribers get their questions answered first, and subscribers always get their questions answered all the time on the page. So you can, it's kind of like having me within 12 to 24 hours, get your question answered right away. So let's start with our subscriber, Rebecca Scholl. Rebecca says, "What's the difference with all the wild yam products as creams, salves, and oils?" Yes, you know what? I think we have the largest selection of wild yam creams on the market, and oils and salves. So I did bring them all right here. They're right here to my left. I can't turn the camera, but I'm going to show them to you one at a time. Our wild yam creams stack on each other. So they get a little bit stronger with a little bit more herbs as they progress. And we have a little bit of everything. So we're going to talk about that now. Are you ready? The first one we have is a whipped wild yam cream without chasteberry. It's only the wild yam. I figured I kind of just started making this because of all the research I was learning from Dr. John Lee. And all he talked about was wild yam, wild yam, wild yam, wild yam. And I thought, well, let's just make one with wild yam. So this one is just a very simple wild yam, whipped wild yam cream with wild yam cream in it. Pretty simple. Also, it's a very mild one. I've noticed it's mild, so it's good for our little ones. And I say little ones, like our teenagers, things like that, that just need a mild to start, or anyone who's really sensitive to a lot of different herbs. It's a great way to start because there's only one, right? It's only the wild yam. So that's our first one. That's the mild. Okay, we'll talk about how you apply it all at the end. The next one is our whipped wild yam cream regular. And this is the regular one. This one has the wild yam cream. And now we're going to add something. We're going to add chaseberry. So this has the chaseberry, the vitex berry. You probably heard of it. They're both really good for hormonal balancing. So these are with 2 herbs in it. And also we add to all of them shea butter, vitamin E, and oil and aloe to all of our, and olive oil to all of our wild yam creams. So this one is a little bit stronger than the first. So see how they stack? And there's 2 herbs in this one. So that's our wild yam. I didn't bring one, but we also have that in a stick. So it's easy application. You can just apply it with a stick. We ship those in the wintertime and we have them in the store. So as things start to get cooler where you live, we can definitely ship a wild yam stick to you. I just don't want to send you anything that's overly melted. What else on that? Oh yes. So in that same one, in the same regular, we make a scented. This one is with geranium because geranium is also really good for balancing your hormones. So this comes in scented. It smells really nice, smells lovely, and it's also good for balancing hormones, like I said. And they're all natural and organic. We use all natural and organic ingredients, no preservatives that are carcinogenic. That is the whole purpose of putting a cream on your arms and your body, is you do not want to be putting carcinogens through preservatives on your skin. That may cause exactly what you're trying to reverse or to not have happen, right? So with that, some people are allergic to shea butter. So these are wild yam creams with beeswax instead of shea butter. And so my son Joel makes these, and this one is just the basic one with chaseberry and wild yam. There's a mini and a large, and these are made with beeswax instead of shea butter. So that's really nice. Then we have the plus. Now the plus is going to have 3 herbs. It's going to have wild yam, chaseberry, and Dong Quai. Dong Quai is really good for hot flash relief. So this is just a little extra plus for those who have hot flashes. Not everyone has hot flashes when it comes to hormonal imbalances. So that is good. If you do have hot flashes, you can do that. Next, we have the Whipped Wild Yam Cream Women's Extreme. Now this sounds great because it has lots of good stuff. It has chaseberry, it has wild yam, it has black cohosh, it has evening primrose, red clover, maca, Dong Quai, wild yam, which I said, and then it has all the things that we make it with. So that's very simple as well. They're very simple, basic herbs and ingredients. But this one has a little bit more to address all the other things, all the other issues that you may have going on in your body. What's great is all the wild yam cream is, if you're unsure, just start with the basic. Just start with the very basic, mild wild yam cream and work your way up to the regular. And if regular is going great and you don't have hot flashes, you could just stay on the regular. Some people develop hot flashes and they need a little extra hot flash relief. And then some people just need the really big guns because you name it, it's happening. And they just want just give me the extreme, right? And I don't want to forget our men. Men, you're important too. And you also go through what I call menopause. And so we make a men's extreme with wild yam cream. And that is with the wild yam, the chaseberry, horny goatweed, white willow, stinging nettle, wild yam, I said, thyme, saw palmetto, maca. So it's got some really great things for the prostate and for men's health. Now, why would you use wild yam cream? It's to balance hormones no matter where you're at. If your child is 9 and starting to develop too early or menstruate way too young, if your young son is starting to develop breasts or if men are starting to develop breasts or stomach, really large stomachs, this is where it's good to know that this is a link to hormonal imbalances, specifically estrogen dominance. Estrogen loves the tummy, that visceral fat, it loves to accumulate there. And so that's one sign of a hormonal imbalance, is just crazy weight gain in those areas. And so that's some of the reasons why. Also, you can use wild yam cream for hair loss, for insomnia, for vaginal dryness, erectile dysfunction, low energy. There's so many wonderful things that wild yam cream is good for. Dr. John Lee talks a lot about it, and he was the pioneer for wild yam. And so it's really interesting to read his lectures and then to dig even deeper and find old articles that he learned from Dr. Pete, I believe his name was. So it's really, really incredible. So I just have taken a lot of what I've learned from them and I've just incorporated it into the creams, and my boys make them now. So I delegated that whole business to them, so they make the creams and they also ship them to you. So that's a little bit about our wild yam cream. How do you apply wild yam cream? You apply wild yam cream twice a day, 3 weeks on, 1 week off if you're a woman, and you apply it for sometimes up to a year to help you balance your hormones. It might take some time because sometimes we've been on birth control. I spoke to a woman, she'd been on birth control for about 25 years. So it's a lot to just go off that and to just go and start to balance your hormones naturally again and let your body work the way God made it to work. So it's a little bit of a shock to the body sometimes when it's like, oh wait, we get to do this by ourselves now? We don't have a boss? We get to make our hormones by ourselves. This is exciting. So and that's what Wild Yam Cream will do. But men apply it twice a day and they don't have a break because they don't have a menses. But the 1 week break for women, that's your menstrual week. If you don't have a menstrual cycle, you need to still take a week off to balance your hormones. Karen says wild yam and polycystic ovaries. Yes, absolutely. Because estrogen dominance, estrogen is a cell proliferator. And even doctors know when they put you on estrogen, synthetic estrogens, that they have to be mindful and they have to watch you very carefully so you don't develop any kind of cancers. So it's great for fibroids. It's great for cysts. It's great for what you just said, the polycystic ovaries, endometriosis. These are some really good things it's good for. Angela said, should one take a week off of Wild Yam Cream while pregnant? Nope. Oh, yep. You still take a week off when you're pregnant. Sorry. Yes, you do. So if you don't have a period, if you're pregnant, if you've had a hysterectomy, right, anything like that, you still take a week off to just go in the natural flow of the way your body was set up to operate with those hormones. Okay. So does anybody have questions about the Wild Yam Cream before we go on? I think that was a great question by Rebecca. We're working on just getting a really like a very simple flyer for you to see where you know which one you need to be using. And you can let people know too. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so we'll get going. The next question we have is from Elaine. Oh, here we go. Can you take it if you have higher estrogen? Yes, that's when you want to take it. You want to take it to balance all your hormones. Progesterone is mother hormone, and when she's not in charge, then you have estrogen dominance or you have imbalances of other estrogens, and you don't want that. Progesterone makes all hormones. It makes testosterone, it makes estrogen, it makes E1, E2, E3. So progesterone is the basic, the cookie cutter to anything in the body. What's great is it takes this progesterone molecule and it adds like different parts to it. And I'll get you better terms later, but I'm just learning about this. And it makes other hormones in the body. So you need to make sure you're getting your natural hormones circulating through that progesterone dominance, not estrogen dominance. Okay. How do you know if you need Wild Yam Cream? Well, it just depends. If you're tired a lot, if you have vaginal dryness, if you have low libido, if you have foggy thinking, your mind's not thinking clearly. There's so many things linked to hormones, your cortisol levels, your insulin, your glucagon, your pancreas. There's so many places that your hormones are made and so many things that requires your hormones working properly. And so it just depends. You just kind of have to ask yourself, you may not need it. If you've ever been on birth control, probably yes. So if you have ever had cancer, yes, absolutely. Yes. It's going to be balancing your hormones. So that's a little bit about that. Hair loss is another thing. So, yeah. Okay. Let's get going. So Elaine says, Elaine mentioned a word that I cannot pronounce, but I'm going to try. Jejunum ileum stenosis. Okay. And she was diagnosed was diagnosed what can be used to open up this area of the small bowel to get proper nutrients in the body. That's basically when there's a little bit of inflammation, causing blockage between the small intestine and the large intestine, and then the duodenum is affected. So a few things I would like to ask if you're on, Elaine, is how old is the person that has this, right? Is it a baby? Is it an adult? Is it a child? And how long they've been dealing with this, so to speak, blockage or inflammation? What is their current diet? See, there's things you need to ask before you can kind of really answer that altogether. There's just a little bit more information I need to know. But let's assume that this is for an adult, right? And so what I would ask is still, what is your current diet? What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you not eating that you should be eating? And what you're not What are you not drinking that you need to be drinking? Those are the questions that need to be asked so you can find out why the bowels are inflamed in the first place. Also, there's some things you can do for inflammation of the bowel, and that's take slippery elm, and also to make it more slippery for the food that you eat to go through, and also to coat, soothe, and heal the inner lining of the stomach. There's the slippery elm, there's aloe, there's marshmallow root, and there is, those are my favorites actually for the colon, is the slippery elm, the marshmallow root, and the aloe. And you don't have to take them all, you don't take them all at the same time. You can take them one a week and see how it goes for you. Just try slippery elm, just try marshmallow root, just try an aloe. But honestly, if that was happening to me, any kind of stenosis in the stomach like that, I would definitely be very mindful of what I'm eating, taking it really easy on my gut, making sure I eat maybe more smoothies, drink more juices rather than eat meat, right? Because meat can be really difficult for the body to break down. It can take more time. It can just be a little bit more aggressive in the digestive system. So you may want to say, hey, maybe I'll go plant-based for a while. Maybe I'll eat more things that are easy to get through that inflammation. And then work on getting your inflammation down. Avoid foods that are acidic. Avoid foods that do cause inflammation. Maybe look into some turmeric or some things that bring the inflammation down. But I can't really answer that 100%. You can definitely use a castor oil compress over the abdomen as well to help with that area, to lubricate and things like that, okay? Anybody has questions about that? Okay. Joe and Tommy says, hi, Jacqueline. Joe from the Carolinas. I was researching on your page, saw a post about when you were bloated. Your comment was, I was pregnant. I wasn't pregnant, I was sick. Yeah, that was a long time ago. You found a really long post. Can you elaborate on that? Or maybe that's something you could make another video about. I'm curious of what was the cause, because I've seen women with the same issue. Yeah, that actually was a testimony of mine. So that would be probably a YouTube. I need to make a YouTube video on that, on my testimony. But I remember my little one saying, Mommy, are you having another baby? And I was like, no, I am bloated, but I just couldn't figure out what was going on with me. And I realized it was just overuse of antibiotics. It was a conglomeration, a bad collaboration of many bad choices and many bad things that I've done to my body, like breast implants. Breast implants caused me to have lots of urinary tract infections, which I already was susceptible to, but even more so, which caused me to have so many antibiotics to get rid of the urinary tract infection. So you see, it's just, it's a domino effect. And it was just like everything at once, and my gut health was done. So basically you see that picture where I look like I'm pregnant, and it is my microbiome saying, we're done. There's not many left of us in here. And this is what you get. You get a big tummy to think about your actions and what you've given us. No, so that really takes a lot of repair. And what's great is the body repairs itself when you give it the right things. So now I don't have a big tummy. My tummy is flat again, but I still have to be mindful of all the things. It does take time, but your body will heal. You have to build up your microbiome. How do you build up your microbiome? You do that by taking a probiotic 45 minutes before breakfast. You do that by watching foods that kill the microbiome, and kill the villi that line the gut to protect the gut from the nutrients and the toxins coming in, and the nutrients. You want the nutrients in, but you don't want the toxins in. So it's all these things that you have to be careful of. What are the things that damage the gut? Alcohol, refined sugar, caffeine, drugs, medications, all those kinds of things that we all know, like food dyes, chemicals, all those things, right? These are things that take its toll over time on the gut. And so you have to be really mindful of the intake of that. And you have to eat lots of good cultured foods. Like I stayed away from bread because bread just made me bloated as well. And I stayed away from carbohydrates like rice and those kinds of carbohydrates for a while. But I did eat a lot of fat, fiber, and protein that were healthy, that were easy to digest. And I ate a lot of cultured foods. So kimchi, kefir, coconut yogurt, you name it, I was taking it. But 45 minutes before breakfast, you should always take a probiotic. But that's a little bit about the gut to answer that question for you. Okay, Jordan says, what is the best workout routine for lymphatic drainage and working out? In what order should things be done? Stretching, lymphatic drainage, and doing a light workout. Yeah, that's a really great question. You definitely want to wait about an hour and a half to 2 hours after you eat a heavy meal to work out. Why? Because the body is taking all its energy to digest your meal, not to run you up a hill or get you through, whatever it might be you're doing, biking or whatever. So the body needs that energy. It needs to focus on, it's kind of it's like dual tasking, right? Like, multitasking, which is not a thing. I'm just telling you that's not real. It's called milkshake multitasking, and you just are a mess. You're like a little here, a little there, a little there, a little there, and nothing gets done with your full concentrated effort. For example, when your kids are trying to talk to you and have a conversation, but you're on your cell phone or you're doing something else, and then you look at them and you're thinking, I didn't even make eye contact with them, and I have no idea what they just said to me, and I just said yes, and they're like leaving so excited. I probably just told them they could go like jump off the house or something with the parachute that they just made, right? So we want to be focusing on one thing at a time, and the body is the same way. So the body wants to focus on digesting your food. Yay! Now let's go exercise. Woohoo! It's like when our parents, when we were little, or grandparents said, you can't go swimming right after you eat. They do that for a reason. Jenny says, do you have a probiotic that you liked best? Yes, I like PB8. PB8 makes really nice fermented cultured yogurt when we've made it before. We have that on our online store, OK Be Healthy. There's also another one called Aura, Trust Your Gut. I like one of the probiotics that they have, which is just a very simple probiotic. So those are some good probiotics that are very, they work. If you want to make a yogurt with them, they kickstart and they work. That's how I know they work really well. Okay, so back to that. So you don't want to be you don't want to be working out right after you eat a large meal. Now, if you drink a juice, right, or you had a smoothie, obviously it's not going to take as long to digest that. So use common sense there. I always work out on an empty stomach. I wake up first thing and I go exercise first, and then I do my eating because it helps you to build those fat storages. You want to build, your body has those glycogen stores, right? Like little clusters of grapes, but it keeps fat stores and glucose in your fat. And so when you are fasting, right? So when you wake up in the morning and you go work out, the body says, okay, well, we need these glycogen stores. We need to now go into our storage of fat over here. And so that's why I like doing it on an empty stomach the first thing in the morning. And it's done for the day, because whenever I say I'm going to work out later, it never happens. Anybody else like that? Okay, so in what order should things be done? Stretching, lymphatic drainage, and doing a light workout. It just kind of depends on your time frame. Typically, I just stretch and I work out. And if I do like a lymphatic drainage, that is the workout. It could be rebounding, right? Rebounding is a great way to work your lymphatic system. Also, swimming. You want to put yourself in a place of defying gravity, and swimming does that. Or lymphatic jumping, rebounding, or trampolining, right? Where you're jumping lightly. This opens your lymphatic system and helps flush the body. Also, dry brushing. Dry brushing can definitely help. Make sure you brush in the right direction. You're brushing with the direction of the lymph drainage. So make sure you're brushing the correct way when you brush. So, it really just depends on what you can get done and what you can do. I don't think there's necessarily a bad way or a good way. It's just kind of the way that works for you and what order you should do it. But typically, I find the easiest for me is working out or stretching, working out, in the workout, doing the rebounding part of the workout, and then, something like that. That kind of seems to be my natural go-to. So, okay. I wanted to talk about the lymphatic system. What are some herbs you could do to help the lymphatic system? And now these aren't things you have to do all at once, although I thought, I can make a tincture with this. But cleavers, have you heard of cleavers? That's a good herb for the lymphatic system. There's something called red root. Echinacea is one of my personal favorites. I love echinacea, and Jonas just made a echinacea tincture, so you can find that on our website now. Echinacea, it's also good for this time of year. Too much refined sugar season makes your immune system go down, which makes it cold season. So really address the cause, which is too much garbage in the bloodstream and in the body. So don't eat so much of that garbage this time of year, and then you won't really even get sick. But if you do, then you need to be mindful. And echinacea is really good at helping boosting the immune system. And it's antiviral, which is really nice. Then you have burdock. There's mullein. Mullein is one of my favorites. Mullein is great. You have astragalus, dandelion, right? Dandelion's a good one. Turkey rhubarb. And then cilantro. Cilantro is a great one, and it also is a heavy metal detoxer, so it's a chelator. It helps remove heavy metals out of the body, especially if you've got amalgam fillings or mercury fillings. Get those out with a biological dentist. And then also make sure you're eating cilantro every day and coconut oil pulling. Little side note on amalgam fillings, but those are no joke. You need to make sure you're very careful with that, okay? Okay, next up would be, Jacqueline. Hi, Jacqueline. I'm Jacqueline. Silveria. So, I don't know if I'm saying your last name right. I'm sorry. We'll just stick with first names. Jacqueline. How to heal gastritis and reflux. I feel like I always have something stuck in my throat. Endoscopy showed gastritis. I'm eating an alkaline diet. Great job. Drinking tea, aloe, collard green juice with apple, and just started cabbage juice. Caved in and took the prescription the gastroenterologist gave me, but I know it won't be good in the long run. I have lost 15 pounds in a little over 2 months. Not sure what to do anymore. Okay, well, I would like to ask, how much water are you drinking? I know you said you're drinking tea, but remember, nothing replaces the body's needs for water except for water. So we need to be drinking water, 64 ounces of water a day. Your stomach lining is made of water, baking soda, and it has a mucosal lining, but it needs water to make those things. So the first thing I'd like to ask you is, how much water are you drinking? Not anything else. Nothing else counts. That's great if you're drinking herbal tea. Great. It's great if you're drinking, something else that's healthy for you, but it doesn't count. That's just extra. That's the coconut water. Awesome, but it's not water, right? So you guys need to drink your water every day, and then that stuff is extra. So yeah, what I would do is I really consider your stomach lining. Make sure your stomach lining is nice and full of water. You're hydrated. You're not drinking with your meals. You're being very easy with your stomach. And also reflux, magnesium citrate is good for reflux if that doesn't go well with you, because it's a slight laxative, but it's one of the most bioavailable magnesiums. So is magnesium glycinate. And so, you could try a different magnesium. If it's not going well for you, try a different magnesium. But it helps relax that cardiac sphincter, the sphincter that is open because it's stressed out, and that's why you're feeling the reflux. Medications over long term are no good. So you really want to encourage your body to start healing on its own. So yeah, that's what I would do, is I would just stop overeating. If you are, eat smaller amounts of food. It's great you're on an alkaline diet. Maybe you need to, let's see, collard green juice, that's what I would start doing, and all the things that we've talked about for gut health, which we're going to talk a little bit about again here in a minute. So don't go away. You'll see that here in a minute when we're talking. So first thing I would do, though, for gastritis is get that inflammation down in the stomach, and then think about magnesium and drinking your water, and strengthening your hydrochloric acid, which we're going to talk about again here in a minute, okay? Shonda says, what would you recommend to someone that has HSV1 or 2, the herpes simplex virus? It's a virus, but it's incurable according to doctors, and doctors offer round of antiviral medication when there's a flare. I want to say something. All things are possible with God, okay? If they can tell you, if they can give you, if they can say something like it's impossible, then we are allowed to say it's possible. Because how do they know it's impossible? How do they know it's incurable? Like, how are they God? I mean, that's what I always say, is like, how do you know that? You're just saying that. I wanted to make a side point. $2.47 billion were made in 2023 on that medication for HPV1 and HSV1 and HSV2 combined. That's a lot of money, guys. It's projected to be at $4 billion in the year 2030. Think about that. Now, do you think that they want a cure? Of course, it's better to say it's uncurable. Now take the medication the rest of your life. Hello, it's affecting their pocketbooks if they say you can actually manage this. And with God, all things are possible. Can you imagine? That'd be really cool. I'd love that doctor if he told me that. That'd be pretty amazing. So the first thing you want to do is we can talk about oral herpes, and I believe that's HSV1. That one you would want to take a lysine. Okay, a lysine's really good. For the minute that you feel a little bit of an eruption coming on the mouth, it's typically on the mouth where people get it when it's on the face. Sometimes it can be, around the mouth, but ice. You want to ice it the second you start to feel something going on. I would take some cayenne pepper. I would take a shot of cayenne pepper for sure when I feel that happening. Your zinc is good for both. Vitamin C is also good for both. You could even do L-lysine with it, and ice is also good for both. Anytime you feel an eruption of a herpes sore coming up, you need to put ice on that as soon as you feel that feeling, okay? And hold it there until you can't stand it, and then take it off, and then put it back on, kind of like a hydrotherapy to that sore, the potential sore. There's a really good natural topical called Femiclear, Femiclear, and it's all natural. You could look into that if you have some soreness. That one is for genital. And then you have one that you can use for the mouth, which would be Curoxen. Curoxen, and it has a little bit of a numbing effect. It's also good for just any kind of sore in the mouth, or if your little one has braces and they get a little sore, that's a good one too. Curoxen for sores. Ice. There's some really good herbs, which I wrote down, that are naturally antifungal, because that's the biggest thing, is they want to get you on that antifungal medicine or antiviral medicine. And I wrote those down for you. Some of those herbs that you could start taking. Also, you want to get your diet really healthy, right? You want to do all the right things. Give your body all the right things so that you can manage this. Most people have one of these strains, but yet it's never manifested because they keep their environment really healthy. They exercise, they drink water, they get in the sunshine, they get their sleep, they don't have stress. It's not that they don't have stress, they just give it to God right away. That's what I do. You could probably write, if you wrote down what I did in my day, most people probably be stressed out, but really I don't look at it that way. I just look at it one thing at a time. And you know what? If it's something I can't handle, I give it to God. Here you go. That's yours. You can have that one because it's giving me anxiety. Okay, so here's some herbs on top of doing all the things that you can do, right? All the possible things you can do, so God can help you with the impossible. And then there's some herbs that you can also look into taking that are naturally antiviral. Oregano is a good one. Olive leaf is really good. Garlic, basil, and basil is also good for hepatitis B. You have fennel, licorice. Licorice is also good for MRSA and hepatitis C. Now, you can't take licorice if you have high blood pressure, but I was thinking if you have low blood pressure, then you might want to take licorice, right, to help you get that up a little bit. So that's something you could do. There's a little extra bonuses in there for your note taking. I said basil already. And then echinacea. I love echinacea. The more I'm reading about echinacea, I think I love it for everything. Elderberry. We know about elderberries. A lemon balm is another great herb. Ginger. I said olive leaf. And I believe I said, there's Paw d'Arco and there's beta glucan. So those are some things you can look into taking. Not all at once, but take one for a month, take another one for a month, take another one for a month, and then just see. But, I know people who have both of those, and it's not manifested or expressed because they are very careful with their lifestyle. And so sure, if you tested the blood, it would say they had it, but you would never know because it never manifests because they do all the right things and they're not on medication. Did you hear that? They're not on medication? No, not at all. Zero. They take care of their bodies. So, and you know what? God does the impossible. I love that. We have to start thinking that. Start imagining yourselves well. Start thinking yourselves well. Okay. I think that was all I wanted to say about that one. Okay. Rhonda says, what is the best thing for shingles, topical and internal, please? Well, a lot of the same things because it's a virus. So a lot of things that I just talked about are some of the same herbs you can take for shingles. I would just take one a week and see how it goes. If it's going great, do something different. You always want to alternate it about once a week. Okay. I would say topically, definitely calendula salve. Calendula salve topically for any kind of shingles. That is my go-to. I would also be drinking calendula tea. Now, I've never had shingles and I've seen some really gnarly scars, so I know it can be super painful by the look of some of these people's scars and the things that they've gone through. So I am praying for you because that is not fun. But really, it's you got to get the stress down and you got to get your diet under control. Every single person I've asked what happened prior, they were either max stressed out to the max stressed out, okay? Not just a little, but to the max. Or they had eaten some really terrible things for a very long time, or their lifestyle was just really bad. So there's always something that usually triggers it. So all you need to do is make sure that this virus doesn't manifest itself by making sure your environment, your terrain, right, is not compatible with virus. Virus won't want to be there. They want to go. They just want to stay in a little corner and they don't want to be out partying. They're uncomfortable in your body, right? That's the idea. You want to make all virus and pathogens and toxins uncomfortable in your body by eating all the good things, because there's so many good people in your body, right? Fighting for you, like all the antibodies and things like that. Okay. Making sure I don't miss. See, if you see my notes, I have tons of notes I take. Okay. I'll like go through your questions and then I just write whatever comes to my mind because I don't want to forget when I'm live. Okay. Tracy says, seeing a lot of information about DMSO. Would love to hear your opinion, please. Honestly, if it's not found in nature, I don't really it's like if God didn't make it, don't take it, right? Somebody came into the store the other day and said that, and I love that. If God didn't make it, don't take it. I'm like, I'm going to be saying that all the time. It's somewhat found in nature through wood pulp. And a lot of the DMSO that they use is actually a byproduct of paper making. And so part of me thinks, is this just a money making? Like, what can we do with all this extra byproduct? Can we just label it as a supplement and say to tell people that it helps carry your herbs better through the body or through the bloodstream? You know, that's just me. I just think that especially if the FDA says FDA approved, FDA approved, FDA approved. I'm always like, why are they so keen to approve this and jump to it? So, I honestly don't know too much about it. I just know my first inclination, that feeling is I wouldn't take it. Personally, I wouldn't take it. I've never taken it. But I would say, do your own research. See if you think maybe you hear something differently and maybe you have some really good articles. Definitely send them my way. I mean, I'm never absolute, but my first feeling is, nah, I wouldn't take it. Okay. Margarita says, thanks. Thanks for doing this on Fridays. Yeah. Angela said, what do you recommend for menopause? We talked about that a little bit in the very beginning in the video. We talked about wild yam cream. That's what I recommend definitely for anyone going through menopause, wild yam cream. Definitely remove caffeine. Caffeine just adds fuel to the menopausal fire. And so we don't want that all hot flashy any more than it needs to be. Although, you know what? I'd take on the hot flashes any day over cancer. So don't take anything that could give you cancer just because it's going to relieve your hot flashes. That's just my opinion. Just be the lady that's like this. Open the fridge. That's totally fine. Yeah, do it. It's not going to last forever. Okay. But yes, remove caffeine, watch out for alcohol, watch out for refined sugar. These are things that can actually make it worse. And so eat a very alkaline diet, eat a healthy diet, drink lots of water, do all the things necessary for your health. And then, yeah, definitely use wild yam cream. It helps make all those things less intense. Okay. Risa said, hello, and thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. I received my eye kit today and want to start using it tomorrow. My question is, can I take cayenne and eye bright supplements while doing the eye wash, or would that be too much? I wouldn't think so. I would do it. That'd probably be even better for you. So yeah, she just got the eye wash kit. So you're washing your eyes. Great. Yeah. And then you could definitely take the cayenne and eye bright. And guess who will tell you if it's not working? Your body. Your body will say, this is too much, sister. We need to do one or the other, please. So just pay attention. Watch for your body's response. It's real simple. And if the body doesn't like it, then don't continue it. Asher says, B12 sublingual and B complex oral pills put me to sleep when I take them. Interesting. I get so tired and I have tried changing up up the time I take them, and I still end up falling asleep, and I have had to go have a nap for a couple hours. I've tried different brands too. So a few things you can do, and this had me thinking. So I like this question. I like questions that make me have to think and dig. And it's kind of fun because you have to work backwards, actually. You have to work backwards into finding like what is the root cause. So it's kind of cool when I have these questions. I like them. They make me think. One thing you can do, right, is maybe try taking your B complex or B12 at night, right? Because you're sleeping anyway, so that'd be easy. Most people can't do that because it gives them energy. I can't do that. I have so much energy if I take a B complex, even around 4 o'clock. Woo, too much energy. So I take my B12 probably by noon, because by the time I'm hitting my 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock tired phase, I get those little, I'm tired, I need a nap phases sometimes. But I found taking a B complex has really helped me with that. So I'll take that around 11 or 12. And by the time I am approaching my afternoon, I'm not super tired. So that's one thing you could try. Also, here's how it works, okay? For your B12 needs intrinsic factor, okay? It's quite interesting because to me, okay, the long story short is that sounds to me that you have low hydrochloric acid. And when you have low hydrochloric acid, the body can't break out the B12 from and the intrinsic factor is responsible for doing that. And so it could be that you're missing those little in-between little links to get to the B12 absorption. And to do that, you want to make sure your parietal glands, because your parietal glands are in the stomach lining, are responsible for making intrinsic factor and B12. And so, and hydrochloric acid and intrinsic factor. So the parietal glands are responsible for intrinsic factor production and hydrochloric acid production. And the intrinsic factor is what helps get the B12 absorbed, right? So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that your hydrochloric acid isn't strong enough. And so you should try to drink lemon water in the mornings, or you should try to use cayenne pepper in the morning. Drink some cayenne pepper in the morning and a little bit of water. Just take some cayenne pepper to stimulate your hydrochloric acid to get stronger. There's also something called digest tea, which helps stimulate your stomach acid as well. And biggest thing is, are you drinking enough water? Because if you don't have the water to make these things, it's not going to get done, or it's going to be really, really weak and watered down. And so you don't want watered down hydrochloric acid. You want really strong hydrochloric acid. You want your parietal glands to be able to make the intrinsic factor and the hydrochloric acid. That way you can break the B12 out of the food for absorption, or out of the supplement. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking you should do. Maybe try that and then take your B12 at night. Also could be the brand. I know you said you looked at the brands, you've tried different brands, but it could be the brand. Some brands have toxic ingredients in them, and they're not good at all, or lots of sugar or food dye. I've seen some B12s and they put so much red 40 in it. It's disgusting. I'm like, don't take that, you guys. Don't take that. Don't take it. Okay, good. Does anybody have questions about that one? Okay, next question is from Renee Collier. She says, digestive issues cause chest pain down into the top of the stomach and back into shoulder blades. Ouch. I have a hiatal hernia, was repaired years ago, but slipped shortly after surgery. I take pantoprazole. But I would like to go off it. It doesn't really help, but it just hurts any healing. True. Doctors have no clue what to do next. As whole digestive system messed up, I can't have good natural bathroom BMs either. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the side effects of that medication, especially long-term. So there's common side effects, which is, and I printed the whole thing so you guys know, because a lot of people are on this kind of medication. It says it's generally well tolerated, but some people may experience side effects. Common side effects include headache, diarrhea, nausea, abdominal pain, dizziness, mild to moderate pain in the head, loose or watery stools, feeling of sickness, discomfort, or pain in the stomach, feeling lightheaded or unsteady. Serious side effects are rare, but they can occur. They are things like allergic reactions, rash, swelling, difficulty breathing, kidney problems, decreased urine output or blood in urine, low magnesium levels. Symptoms include muscle cramps and irregular heartbeat. So for anybody who starts medications and they notice their heartbeat's different, that's usually a common thing amongst medications, especially long-term. Vitamin B12 deficiency. Symptoms include fatigue, sore throat and numbness, sore tongue. And then, it says watery diarrhea, stomach cramps, fever. But long-term use, listen to this, okay? Taking this over a long time, this is that pantoprazole, taking this for a long period of time can cause bone fractures, increased risk, especially in older adults, gut infections, higher chance of infections like pneumonia, rebound acid hypersecretion, which means increased acid production after stopping the medication. So it actually makes your symptoms worse because it's been putting, your body like in confinement. It can't work on its own. Literally, when we take medications, it's like putting your body in a jail cell, like putting cuffs on your body's natural ways to help you heal. And there's nothing the body can do except let this drug work like a robot in your body and just do what it's supposed to do. And it's usually to stop something naturally from occurring in the body. So now I don't tell you guys your side effects to medications that you're taking to scare you. No, that's not my point. The point is to know what you're dealing with, because I think that's fair. I think it's fair that if they say this is all you can do the rest of your life, but then you find out it's actually going to make everything that I have even worse in the long run and give me other things, then what's the point of that, right? So the biggest thing is, I'm sorry that the surgery didn't go well. I've heard that it's very common, though, that people get that surgery. It doesn't actually work for them. Even if they've tried mesh, it's even worse. So it's kind of finding the history. When did it start? What's happening? What I would do is just make sure I'm eating very easily digestible foods. Easy to go down, easy to be in the stomach, doesn't cause a lot of bloating, doesn't cause a lot of uncomfortability, being mindful of my digestion processes. You can take magnesium. There's magnesium to help you relax those, magnesium citrate, or you can try a different kind, magnesium glycinate. I know we talked about this a little bit in the beginning, but I understand, that is painful, that it really hurts. Someone told me that you can jump from a chair. If you have hiatal hernia, it helps to pull that down. And if you do that, you need to be careful. You need to have someone help you. If you're already wobbly or unsteady, make sure you have someone help you jump off a small chair, not off the house, nowhere crazy. But also there's rebounding. You could definitely rebound every day, just gently rebound. And if you can't stand and do it, sit and do that, because that action is still going to help pull that down. I'm trying to think of other things. You could, I don't know if you've tried the slippery elm. I know we've talked about this before when I've talked about hiatal hernias here. But there's slippery elm, there's aloe, magnesium citrate. Those are some things you can do. It's kind of difficult when they've done all the surgeries. You can definitely use castor oil or castor oil compress. I guess we're talking about over this area, or a castor oil compress over, and kind of see what happens. Cayenne pepper is a natural analgesic, and it actually stimulates blood flow, so you can definitely do that. You could do hydrotherapy, do some cold plunging. That heals, that stimulates the whole body to start healing. So there's some things you can look into. But sometimes there's a little bit more history that I need to know before I can give like a solid answer on exactly what to do. But that kind of gives you some pointers, some ideas. And that's the end of our questions. Can you believe it? Wow. Donna says, I jumped off my bathtub a few times and I'm having less hernia discomfort. That's amazing. Oh, that's great. Be careful, please. Don't hurt yourselves. Make sure your bathtub's not wet. That's really great news, though. Does anybody have any questions? I have a few extra minutes, and I can take your live questions now. Those are good questions today. So I won't have time to go back and look at all the comments, but you guys are welcome to ask any more questions you might have. I'm trying to remember when someone asked later. I know there's some later added questions. Let me look for those while you guys are here, and I'll see while I'm looking. Oh, please talk about gallstones. Thank you. Yeah, you could do a liver gall cleanse. And whenever you do a liver cleanse, it's going to actually stimulate your gallbladder too. I would definitely wear a castor oil compress over the gallstones. There's something called stone breaker. It's Chansa piedra herb, and it helps to break up stones. Make sure you have a very alkaline diet. An acidic diet can help. An acidic diet can actually cause stones. Synthetic calciums or, man-made calciums, fortified calciums, those can actually cause stones. So also be mindful of your water, right? Your drinking water. Does your water have a high calcium content in it? These are things that can kind of contribute to that. But the biggest thing is I've heard people drinking lemon water, right? We've all heard that. I would definitely look into doing a liver cleanse. There's some really great liver cleanses out there. Because it also helps and stimulate the gallbladder to cleanse. Yeah, that's what I would do. That's all that's coming to my mind at the moment. And I told you the castor oil compress, right? So that's another good one. Okay. Let's see. Becky said, really high blood pressure. What's a natural remedy? The best thing for that is hawthorn berry. Hawthorn berry is really good for regulating the blood and the heart. There is cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is really good for the heart. Hawthorn berry is a heart strengthening herb. French grapeseed extract is really good for the heart as well. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but that's also a really good one. You can take for heart strengthening. Cayenne pepper, hawthorn, magnesium, relaxes the heart. Making sure you're drinking plenty of water and exercising. Those are some things you can do. The water really does make a difference too. And then watch the intake of toxic foods that you're getting into the system. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Ginger says, have you ever heard about the LifeWay patch? I have. I'm not a big supporter of things that I need to wear the rest of my life to give me health. That's my personal input. But, if you want to do it and try it, if you like it, go for it. But to me personally, I don't want to be dependent on something that God didn't just make. I just get in the sunshine and I just, if I need a herb, I take a herb. If I need a supplement, I take a supplement. But I'm not huge on machines or things or material things to make me healthy. I depend more on God and this wonderful ability, this divinely designed body that I have when I give it all the right things to work on its own. So that's my personal opinion, but there's a lot of good people that like those things, and if that's what you want to do, go ahead. I had a comment here and I didn't want to miss it. It was a late comment, but I don't see it. So let's see. Make sure I didn't miss one here. Waiting for an Angel said, when is the best dates to use castor oil packs when trying to conceive with endometriosis? Anytime, because castor oil is a very genius oil, an herb that God made it to be, because it knows the difference between a bone spur and a bone. So it won't break up a bone, but it'll break up a bone spur. And so I would do it anytime. Anytime you feel inclined, go for it. It's not going to do anything to the baby. It knows how to break up cysts and not little babies. Somebody said, what is good for extremely low blood pressure? I was thinking try licorice, because licorice is not supposed to be taken for high blood pressure because it can make your blood pressure high. So I thought, why not try licorice for low blood pressure? So that would be a good one. Maybe try that, Mackenzie, and let us know how that goes. Morning, love. Good morning, Priscilla. Beverly says, what skincare do you use? Honestly, right now, I just use a stone. I've used a stone on my face since I was about 12 years old. not a stone at the time, but I noticed going to the ocean really helped my skin. And so I just would wash my face with salt. Like, you can use any kind of salt. You can use a granular salt. I prefer, now that I know more about it, I prefer mineral salts. Like Celtic salt is not as expensive anymore. There's Baja Gold salt, there's Redmond salt, there's pink Himalayan salt. And you just, if you want to exfoliate, you use the little, the fine. If you want to even more exfoliate, you could use the coarse. Be gentle. And I also have just stones that I sell on our store that I use as well, where I just lightly rub on my face and I lightly rub my body. I use coconut oil to take off my makeup. So I kind of like the natural oily look to my face. Some people don't like oils on their face at all. They like very powdered face. I like a little glow personally, so I don't mind my natural oils on my face. So yeah. And I use our Glow Beauty Cream. I made a Glow Beauty Cream because I like that glow feeling. And that has sea buckthornberry, witch hazel, calendula, aloe, what else? Oh, so many wonderful things in it to help with your skin. I just put it on at night, and it seems to be just enough under my makeup the next day or after I wash my face with some salt. It seems to be just enough under the makeup where it still gives me a little bit of glow. But I don't apply the Glow Beauty Cream during the day if I am putting makeup on. I just apply it if I'm getting ready to, or if I'm just staying around the house, then I'll add extra. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Garlic. Someone wrote garlic. Yeah, garlic is amazing. Go for it. Go for garlic. Good stuff. Garlic is an anti-viral as well, and it's antifungal, and it's anti all the bad things. It's a natural antibiotic. It's great for babies who have a cold, but you have to be really careful. You never want to touch their skin with it, so be careful with that. Okay. I have a few more minutes. I have 3 more minutes. Is garlic healthy in the morning? Yeah, sure. Why not? Try it out and see. Your body will tell you if it doesn't like garlic in the morning. I can imagine, the only time garlic isn't good for somebody is that they have a very, because it has natural amounts of sulfuric acid, I believe. And too much can irritate the tummy. So if you have a already stomach that's very sensitive, then be mindful with garlic, especially on an empty stomach. Yeah, isn't that a cool quilt? I got it at a garage sale for like $10. This lady made it. Every piece you see is like hand done. And this wonderful woman sold this to me for $10. I was like, I need this in my life. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to put it on my wall somewhere. And there it is. So yeah, garage sales are the best. Love it. What can I use to increase progesterone? Wild yam cream. Wild yam cream helps naturally balance your hormones, especially progesterone, which is responsible for making so many hormones in the body. The body knows how to take that progesterone and just to make it, it's like an essential ingredient to making all other hormones in your body. It's so cool. So cool. Yep, I'm back in Oklahoma. Whoop, whoop. Back in Oklahoma. Is garlic good when you have diverticulitis? I've heard it's not. Your body will tell you, Misty. Your body will tell you. It could be good for you. It might not be good for someone else. Oh, I remember the question. The question was, what about when you don't have moons on your fingernails? And as you can see, my fingernails, some have moons, some do not have moons. And honestly, I just ask people, how do you feel? Do you feel great? Then don't worry about it. I think it's just something that you don't need to think about. Honestly, that's my opinion. They say, oh, you might have a nutritional deficiency or, vitamin deficiency, or there's something wrong with your kidneys, or, but then it'll also say, oh, it could be nothing. So I'm like, why worry about it if it could be nothing? I'm going to go with the could be nothings all the time. And, but I'm more of a symptom person. So if you're experiencing symptoms, like I'd be more worried if your thumb is throbbing and it's red and inflamed and hurting. That's kind of something to worry about, but I wouldn't worry about if you have moons or not. Some have moons on mine, some don't. Yeah, that was the question I remembered. So, all right. Well, that is all the time we have today. It is going on 10 o'clock. Hope you have a fantastic, restful weekend ahead. I do right away Q&As on Wednesday at 9 to 10 a.m. CST. And then Fridays, Fridays now have taken the place of our Saturdays, so we do a live Q&A on Fridays. I drop the question box on Thursday to ask you what you'd like to talk about for Friday. So look for that on Thursdays, okay? And then we answer and talk about your questions here. If you'd like questions answered right away, and join our subscriber page. You can find that here on my Facebook page. You can join our subscribers, and we start a new question post every week where I'm answering your questions in real time when you need to know an answer to something. So we have a really nice group over there. It's really great. Now, I just want to remind everyone, imagine yourself well, believe yourself well, think yourself well. It's no different than when we imagine ourselves going somewhere or meeting someone or doing something exciting, right? How many of you have a vacation planned? How many of you are thinking of something you want to do or go, or, it's the same concept. Is we need to think ourselves well. We need to remind ourselves and think of ourselves and imagine ourselves in a really good place. Now, believing is acceptance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. That's in Hebrews 11:1. And so we need to start believing for those things, seeing those things, speaking those things, right? Because the more we're vocal about it, maybe you're not well now, but don't say I'm not well. Say, oh, I'm getting well. I'm getting there. I'm getting well. I'm getting better. I'm so excited for the healing to come. I'm so excited for my testimony that I'm going to be able to tell everyone about. And I'm going to be able to encourage other people to heal as well and encourage their bodies to heal as well. So we need to start confessing these things, confessing them, even when you might not feel it, right? But feelings don't matter. Feelings are just so fickle. You might feel like it one day and not another, but guess what? It will happen. Your healing's happening. Sometimes our healing happens gradually and then suddenly. And sometimes we get amazing miracles where it's just suddenly. And sometimes ailments typically are also suddenly and then gradually and then suddenly. And so we just need to remember that, be patient with ourselves as we expect great things, expect miracles, expect healing. But we have to just be patient and wait it out and do the best we can and leave the rest to God. Okay, Be Healthy Pals. I'll see you next week. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a great 3-day weekend if you have a 3-day weekend like we do. And I'll see you next week. Okay, be healthy. And remember, if you need anything, just call the store, 405-837-5379. We can help you with your order if you need to place an order over the phone. We don't do consultations over the phone, but if you need a private consultation, I understand that. Maybe there's something you want to ask that, or you have a lot of history, or you just need some time. I am offering my consultations again now that I'm home. I have a schedule that I can keep, and you can actually find my consultations. You can call the store. You can find them online. And if you need help finding anything online, just give us a call, whatever it might be. We're here to help you guys. Once again, have a great weekend. Okay, be healthy, pals. Bye.